Hey everyone, this is Ill Factor from beatacademy.com, and in this video I want to share a couple of reviews of some plugins and really essential tools that can help you take your next step with your music production. And in this video in particular, we're going to be looking at Mixed Keys Captain Beat. Now, Mixed Key has created several tools that can be really useful for jump-starting or even sparking some creative ideas for your workflow. And I've mentioned a couple of these plugins before in previous videos, such as Captain Chords, which is a really great way to navigate through chord progressions and discovering new progressions to use in your music. And so the same focus is given over to Captain Beat. So let's just focus our attention on that one. And once again, there's really nothing that you would find that's new that you wouldn't be able to do in your DAW, but yet treat Captain Beat as more of a template or a great place to start, especially if you're not familiar with how to program specific rhythms and patterns for a specific type of genre music that you're trying to learn. It could be a great helpful tool to jumpstart ideas. So just by looking at it, you notice that it's a typical layout of any grid that you would normally come across when working on any DAW. And so they equip you with a bunch of drum kits that you can go ahead and choose from. So you can click the drum kit menu and choose drum kits that might align with specific types of genres. So let's see this one over here in the after hours section. We'll click that and that'll change the drum kit. So even if you've already created a specific pattern, it'll change all the sounds for that pattern. Now let's go over here to the specific type of pattern and figure out if, like I said, this is a great place to start to get more of a general idea of, what would a specific type of house beat or pattern look like. So let's choose Deep Tech 125, and this will draw up a specific pattern here. And so almost like a template to use or to start with. So let's just check out what we have. And so you can now go ahead and just move any of the notes or sounds around like you would normally in any DAW and change that pattern. Then you also have control over that specific sound by heading over to the control section and changing the attack, and those controls affect the sounds you can see there: the hold, the decay, and pitch up and down, the volume and the panning for that specific sound. And then you also have different effects that you can assign to that individual sound. And then there's the export, which allows you to export the audio of that individual channel. As you notice, when you select the channel, it pertains that information. So if I wanted to drag the audio of just the claps, I can click, drag that into my DAW, and that'll give me a new track, or place that on an existing audio track with those claps already there as audio. So it's really seamless in that process. You can also do the same thing for MIDI. If I wanted the MIDI information, meaning I want to use that MIDI pattern that I've created, but yet place this on a drum track that I already have, maybe a sample on, you can do that as well. Then you can actually take the whole audio as a whole, the whole drum beat, or the master MIDI, the drum beat for all of this, and incorporate that into a drum rack. So now we have the MIDI information here of that beat or that pattern that we can now assign to any sounds that we like. So once again, this is a great sketch pad or maybe a starting point for understanding how to manipulate and draw up different patterns. So let me just run you through a couple ways that you can create and uniquely design these patterns yourself. So besides the obvious, just being able to move these, just click and drag anywhere you like. That's the editing function here. Then you have the pencil tool that allows you to click and drag, and you could basically determine what value it's going to snap at or draw in by going here to the bottom right hand corner and choosing the value. So let's say every quarter note. When you choose that, it'll draw a snare drum for every quarter note. So if you're not used to, or maybe you're getting started in a DAW and you're not really familiar with the layout of how to sequence or program the drums yet there, this could be a helpful tool, because this, as a third-party plugin, you could draw up and create here and then simply just drag and drop that into the DAW. So now let's go ahead about the Magic Record. The Magic Record, it's pretty cool because as the beat is playing, whatever you trigger, whether it's on your computer keyboard or your MIDI keyboard, will get added. So let's select the shaker track. And if you fix your attention here where it says hotkey, that's going to let you know what key on your computer keyboard will assign or trigger the shaker track. So I'm just going to be using my computer keyboard here. And so while the beat is playing, I can just tap the Z button on my computer keyboard to input where I want the shaker to be in the grid. All right, so let's go ahead and just select everybody by hitting Command A, deleting it, and let's start this again. So let's create our kick pattern here, and I'll go ahead and you see here the hotkey is the letter A on my computer keyboard. And then let's go ahead and create a pattern. So this is just me using the magic record where it's allowing me to input that data, and you can see the pattern that I'm playing here. And obviously you can just click, drag, and move things around to change the pattern. Now that's my kick drum pattern, and what I can do is go to the clap here, choose this clap, and maybe I want to import an actual clap sample. I don't want to use the actual clap sample that I have here. We can go ahead and import a sample of our own. So I can go over here, say to my Beat Academy sample pack, find a snare drum that I want to use. I'll grab this one, click, drag, and drop that in there. And now that becomes the snare that I'm going to be using in this clap track. And we'll just import that there. And now what we can do is actually change the rhythm for just this lane as well. So I can go into here, let's say the clap track, and say, maybe instead of trying to, just place my rhythm, let's experiment by just cycling through a couple different rhythms and patterns for the clap track and see what that does with the kick track that I inputted. Now, as you notice here, there's a tempo written next to each pattern. And we're currently at 109 globally. So that's the tempo that I'm at right now. So Captain Beats is in sync with my project. So it's taking the tempo down to 109 BPMs. So let's try the suggested BPM here, which is 125 BPM. Let's go in here and type in 125 and input that there. Now let's go back to this kick pattern here. And let's change a specific rhythm for that kick, maybe overtone 124. That's cool. So what I'm doing is just choosing random rhythms from the rhythm lane here and the different ideas, and just aligning them with the sounds that I like. So we can once again click this clap track here, and which is the snare I've imported. Go to the controls. Bring the hold down so it's a lot shorter, maybe in the decay, and then bring up the pitch. Then we can also adjust the velocity for each of the sounds, and that's going to be really helpful, especially when we're dealing with like closed hi-hats. So we can go ahead and use our pencil tool and draw in a quarter note because we still have it set to snap. And you can see the velocity here on the bottom. So now with that, we can go ahead and change the velocity of one of the notes and just kind of experiment with the different velocity settings of each. And just like the rest of the Captain plugins, they give you the tabs that you can focus in on your songwriting process. So here we have the verse. So we're just kind of focusing in on the verse beat, and then maybe we can copy this over to the pre-chorus and change up a couple things. So let's do that. We'll go ahead here, hit copy, head over to our pre-chorus, and then paste that. So we have that same pattern here. But now maybe for the pre-chorus, let's say we incorporate some of the other elements and give them their own unique rhythm. So let me lower this down. Let's try shaker, or we can just actually just go to the pattern itself and choose the whole the same pattern. So we'll go back to here, maybe electric 22. And then going back to the verse. They're just two different of a beat. So I'm going to go and copy the pre-chorus. Instead of having the tambourine, we can just go ahead, select that, delete that, and maybe have the tambourine come in for the pre-chorus. So let's just check that out. And so when we're ready to actually go ahead and transfer this verse beat, you can go here and hit the export and then just drag and drop as we talked about earlier. So as you can see, Captain Beat and along with all the other mixed and key plugins can be really helpful tools to jumpstart some ideas and maybe step out of your comfort zone when it comes to creating particular chord progressions or even drum patterns. You could utilize all the different patterns that come here and maybe just kind of mix around and experiment with different rhythms in your workflow. This also comes equipped with different drum kits that you can use. And on top of that, I also would like to send you a free sample pack filled with drum kits, construction kits, loops, and one-shots that you can use in your music. It's absolutely royalty-free and works in any DAW. You simply drag and drop and you're good to go. This is yours absolutely free. Just go ahead, click the link below in the description box or visit www.beatacademy.com/pack. I'm also putting a link in the description below for more information about mix and key plugins. Definitely encourage you to check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.